How did you actually maybe meet him?
Kodi?
Yeah.
I was working at a music studio, Riff's Music in Murrieta, and my friend Rex at the time had said, "Hey, are you interested? I have somebody coming in. They want to check out the school, and it's a unique situation. The kid, he was like 17, 16 at the time. He's autistic.
Okay.
Doesn't speak really.
Okay.
He's blind."
He's blind and autistic,
Blind and
he's
autistic.
on stage still in front of
Exactly.
millions. Go ahead.
Blind and autistic. Do you want to take him on as a student? And I'm like, well, I am not an autistic therapist, right? So as long as they know that, as their family, I'm still willing to just sit down with the kid and play some music. So he came in, he played Georgia on My Mind, Ray Charles song, and it touched me, and I was super emotional, because it was just really, really mind blowing, and we just connected, and it wasn't necessarily that he needed anybody to teach him how to play music, because he knows music. I just helped him communicate to other musicians, taught him how to do certain things vocally, expose him to different kinds of music, and then when we just started writing music to his fullest capacity, his capacity for writing music is growing every day.
That's awesome.
That's how we met.
Wow. So how would you help him, how he can, how he is, then help somebody who's not, certain things that he has.
His challenges.
Yeah.
Well,
challenges.
Get to know him, right?
Okay.
My challenge was he didn't really talk, but I sensed when he was happy or sad or frustrated. And those were his cues to me. Were very subtle, but I picked up on it over time. A lot of times, if he's uncomfortable, he'll rock. It's most people, that are autistic will
rock.
And when he was comfortable, he wouldn't. He would smile certain ways. He would giggle certain ways. He would do certain things on the piano, certain things vocally, where I knew he was either in a really good mood and enjoying what we were doing that day, or if he was frustrated, tired, not feeling well. So it just takes a lot of time and experience sitting with him to pick up on how to engage and interact with him, just like anybody else, right? If you're the benefit we have with each other being able to speak is like, hey Jay, like
speakish. No, I'm kidding. I'm there-ish. Yeah, each day
you're pretty there.
I'm trying.
Well, the thing is,
I'm getting better.
You might stutter, but I have like silent stuttering, right? I'll be just stuck, and my brain will just stop working.
You're like, what's going on?
Right? My wife can tell you that. She's like, finish your thought.
Wait, so you're saying all of us have a speech or like a thought problem? Because yes, it's all in one and on how it works.
I think so.
So all of us.
I think so. Like you may have stuttering, and that's one of your challenges you've learned to deal with and just live with, and it's just who you are. I think people like me have moments like this where I think, and then I know what I want to say, but my brain doesn't tell my mouth to do it. So those like synapses aren't happening all the time, firing all the time.
It's there. Yeah.
And I think one of the funniest things is when I see these things pop up, little. Now that I'm talking about it, it happens all the time. These little videos that people make that identify with the same things, right? They'll be like, have you ever had a situation where somebody asks you something? Like, hey man, do you know where the paper towels are?
Yeah.
And you heard them, you know what they said, but you still say, what? And as they're saying, do you know? Yeah, they're in the closet. They're all, why did you say what? Like, you know what they asked, you know the answer, but you still, it's like a buffering time. Your brain's still, your brain's still loading. And then when they go to ask the second time, mouth actually works.
Yeah, you're gets there. No, hold on.
Well, no, I understood you the first time.
You asked me a second time. Hold on, no. You have to ask. No. I just answered.
Right.
Chill out.
So I think we all have little, what do I call them? Little bugs.
Bugs.
You know.
Yeah. I have a huge bug, but it's just something I have to see and be like aware of certain things. Mm. It's whatever. It is
what it is, man.
Yeah. And to have met you, to learn, certain things here, how to roll, it helps you to be like an awesome human being.
Yeah.
Because you meet people who are awesome, and you're like, oh, he's a smasher, but yet he's just so cool. And you're like, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it, dude. Like that's Tom for me. Right, Tom is like.
Oh yeah.
he's a huge mentor of mine. He's just talking about just people that are super cool and super chill. And, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, he's like, you have to compete. I'm like, I'm in here to roll. You need to compete to get better.
Man, I was never anybody who liked competition. Right, I just wanted to come, roll, learn the art.
You actually, you got first, and then the third, right? First and third, or something like that.
It was silver and then third, but I just told Tom, I'm like, you know what? I'm a black belt. I'm owning my school. Mm-hmm. Like, of course I'm going to compete now, right?
Yeah.
I just never really cared for it. I know what the importance of it.
Okay.
I just never really, with music being my thing, I was more focused on just, if I'm going to ramp up for something, I'm going to ramp up for a recording or a concert. I never wanted to focus on competing. But so glad I did. The first comp I did was the first legitimate black belt competition was really, really eye-opening. It was really good, a good test, Mm-hmm. But the other one, I'm like, I'm going to do an IBJJF. Which one are you going to do? I'm just going to go to World Masters in Vegas. The biggest one? You're going to go to the biggest one? I'm like,
it might as well.
Might as well, yeah. And it was such a great experience, being there with the team, representing the school, doing my best, just putting it out there. One of my things, I was always fearful of like an injury,
Yeah.
But going out there and competing, it taught me a lot, psychologically more than physically.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, we're going. Your heart's going.
Well, my thing was I wasn't really nervous.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't to win or lose, and that's a bad thing, right?
Okay.
I think when you compete, and the only reason I say that is, there was an old saying by Bob Hope.
Okay.
If you know who Bob Hope is.
Yeah, OG.
Right?
Yeah.
OG, comedian, entertainer, right?
Yeah.
And it was on being nervous before a show. And he said, the day I stopped getting nervous is the day I quit, because it means I don't care, right? And when I went to my first competition, I'm like, I'm not nervous. And what I thought about was like, this is because I don't care if I win or lose, which is good to a point, right? You shouldn't be so invested in the outcome of a fight that it's going to really dictate how you are. It's one match. It's a competition that's going to be 6 minutes of your life, 5 minutes of your life, right? If I lose, I'm not going to, lock myself in a room for a month. If I win, I'm not going to be a braggart, right?
Okay.
So either way, it didn't matter either way. That's cool as far as the ability to not have anxiety.
Okay.
But I almost realized that I think to do better, you have to want to win. You don't have to not want to lose, but you have to want to win.
Okay.
Right? Because if you want to win, you're going to perform better. Doesn't mean you're going to beat yourself up if you lose, but you can't go in stoic, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. My experience, don't go in stoic. Go in wanting to win. Go in wanting to do your best. Let's put it like that. I want to do my best.
Okay.
I'm gonna do well. There was something I heard that really resonated with me. I forget the guy who said it, but He said people should experience 4 things. And if anybody's watching this, comment if you know the guy that said this.
Yeah, because I don't know what he's talking about,
I don't know,
but it's all good.
He said everybody should compete and experience 4 things.
Okay.
Winning being as prepared as you can be,
Okay.
and winning being as unprepared as you can be. Losing being as prepared as you are, and winning being as unprepared as you can be. Or losing being as unprepared as you can be, right?
Okay.
So you know what you're capable of in every situation, right? If
Yeah.
you win and you really, really, really focused hard on training to win, that's going to feel good. But if you lose, even though you trained as hard as you could possibly train, that's another result, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. I think everybody should compete at least once. However, I don't think people should be forced to compete, right? And my teachers never forced me to compete. But for my students and for myself, I need to step in that arena and I need to test myself, which I did. I think it's another extension of the benefit of Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
that's my competition blurb.
No, it's awesome because also that right there, I'm sure you've learned so much from being on the mat, and you got the other person, they also want to win as well. So it's just butting heads, but
Of course.
out here in actual life, it's the exact same thing. You know, it's just you and life. It's like, I want to sleep in and not train. Like, oh, this is nice. This is a warm bed. I like this. And you're like, oh, but I might learn something.
Right.
Either if you're there or if you're just sitting there, the notes, oh, he had the underhood. Or, you know, you can be like, hey, Sal, I seen somebody was doing this. You were on top and you did this. How do you see that, or what things are you having up top to have made that move?
I think it really depends on who
yeah.
I'm going with, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I'm going against somebody that's a beginner,
Okay.
I'm more cerebral about what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah, I'm going easier. I'm trying to work off what they're giving me, going into an arm bar rather slowly.
Yeah.
You know? But if I'm going with somebody more experienced, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just reacting.
Oh, yeah. It's
You know,
yeah. So you just kind of go.
if I think it's too late.
Yeah, because when you're up there, you just, you go. Of course, if you're holding somebody, you're like, okay, I could sit for like just kind of a bit, like, oh, I'm trying to set something up. You're like, oh, he's trying to sweep. Okay, chill, and then kind of do that. But
Yeah, the moment I start thinking with people that are really good, the moment I start thinking, I realize I'm too late. My thought has taken over that space and time instead of me actually doing something. Wow. You know, it's like a really short metaphor for life. You know, like if you're thinking about something and doing, like your podcast, right?
Okay.
How many people think about doing a podcast?
I'm pretty sure
A lot. I'm going to say a lot.
Okay,
right?
okay.
I'm going to say a lot of people think about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of people have great ideas. Not nearly, I would say 5% of those people actually get some equipment and start doing a podcast, right? They're actionable.
Okay.
So when you think about something too much, the opportunity goes away.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, you know, you have to act.
Yeah.
But with the fighting, like if you think too much, if you get caught in thought, it's gone.
Yeah.
Somebody else has already reacted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and with that, so like if you are in a certain spot and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and then you're like, so now I have to actually react, and it's gone.
Right.
So wow, that makes so much sense. Earlier, you have
One son.
Yeah.
Yep.
A son. Yeah, he's awesome, and I believe when he was actually first, you know, here, he had to be kind of taken care of, right?
Yeah, he was 28 weeks 28 weeks when he was born.
Oh, okay.
Now, my wife's water broke at 23 weeks, which is
Okay.
not a good time for water to break, right?
Yeah.
So my wife was in the hospital fighting really for 4 weeks to the day, right? Excuse me, on her back, just trying to keep the baby alive for as long as she could. Because birth is typically imminent within a week or two of being, or of having your water broke.
Okay. Yeah.
And at that point, they were like, look, she's 23 weeks. If this baby is born 24, 25 weeks, these are the complications that are most likely to occur.
Okay. Yeah.
And those are scary complications, right?
Yeah.
But it's our son.
Oh.
Like, I'm not. So.
How did you handle it?
Oh, it was rough. It was rough because the doctors came in. They're like, they're like, look.
It's like this or this. Right.
This is not going to be far off, but it was like, if he's born at 24 weeks,
Okay.
there is an 80% chance that he will not survive, right? And if he does survive, there's a 50% chance that he's going to have severe cerebral palsy or something, right?
Yeah.
We can terminate this pregnancy ethically right now, or you can keep the pregnancy going. So that was something where they're like, you got 5 minutes, make a decision.
This is
So,
okay.
Talking about hypothetical situations, if you were to give me that hypothetical situation any time, my answer would probably be nothing like the answer that was reality, right? Our answer was, we didn't even converse about it. It was like, no, we're gonna keep it. This is our son, right? But anyway, so he was born at 28 weeks, 0 on the APGAR. They had to resuscitate him twice. It was really rough, but he was in the NICU for 64 days. He did really, really well. Had some scary moments, but he came out of it, and he's just a perfect little kid.
That's awesome.
Thank God. There are very unfortunate situations we saw happen while we were in the hospital that are, I don't wish on anybody.
Yeah.
But we were, we were pretty blessed to have him, so.
So how did you learn how to be that, I guess, humble, that as in, okay, this could happen, but this could happen, because there are some people who just freak out.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I just know that was probably one of the most realist, or the most real life moments, right? And what I mean by that is, you go to Burger King, you get a meal. That's not a real life moment, right? That's just like
You're hungry.
You're just like hungry. You're spending time doing something. This is. It was a huge test, I think. A test of character, a test of who we were as people, and it's one of those things where you can't relate unless you go through it, right? Like, I think everybody has different huge challenges in life, and to really understand it, you have to go through it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would have never known about the life of a NICU baby, or the NICU nurse, the NICU unit, the Ronald McDonald House, staying in there.
Yeah, awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Good job.
And I would have never known about that part of life unless I lived it, right? I could read about it in an article on Huffington Post, or
that's
BuzzFeed,
cool.
or whatever,
Yeah.
and spend like 3 minutes on an article and then scroll and forget it even exists, right? There's so many things that I see, like, now, right? Like people that have lost a child, something terrible, right? I can't even pretend to understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just real life moments that force a person to really know what it is to be human.
Yay, we're emotional. Yay, said nobody. No, I'm kidding.
There's emotion, but
Yeah.
when it's really heavy things like that,
Yeah.
you begin to really cherish everything you have.
That's,
You know.
that is huge because you have, you got so many people out there who aren't exposed to certain things. They're like, nah, that can't happen. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, so, hey, it just happened. So how are you about to?
That's one of the things too. It's like, I'm going through this, right? I've gone through this with my particular experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is my particular experience witnessing my son going through this.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has a completely different experience in the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I witnessed my wife go through what she went. She's the one that experienced it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all her. Hey, it's all her. So I'm
It
sorry.
is all her,
No, okay.
you know, but
Yeah.
like I watched her go through that.
Yeah.
I watched my son go through it, but they're the ones that physically went through these things, right? So I can never pretend to understand my wife fully in that,
Of course.
in that moment, you know. So there are people going through things in life, whether, you know, heartache or disease, sickness, whatever it is. They're not going to talk about it, right? They're not going to.
But not yet.
Not yet. They're not going to. They're not going to necessarily. They're not going to have it written on their forehead.
Oh, of
but
course not.
everybody's going through. I know it sounds cliche, but you know, everybody is going through something, or they've experienced something that has either blackened their heart or made it become more alive, right?
Yeah.
And everybody has to respect that. And you don't ever need to know what the details are, but just know that people's hearts are all growing and dying at their own pace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that is huge. How did you help her out to?
My wife?
Yeah, just to kind of.
I wish I could have done so much more if I knew what to do. Right? I tried to be strong, not play it off, but you know, hey, it's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think there is a right answer, but I do know that I wish I would have done some things differently. Maybe allow her to have opened up more, or allow her to, what's the word? Really understand the trauma, you know?
Okay.
Because it's definitely traumatizing. You know?
Oh.
So I don't know, but I think we're okay now. I think she handled it really, really well.
It's awesome.
So
yeah, I've met her like two times.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I know for a fact that right there, hopefully, is gonna help out so many out there. Like, oh, that can't happen to me, or that I see them because they're smaller, or they're smaller. I can do something to them, or they're bigger. I don't want to talk to them. Like, no, we're all humans. And at the same time, it's hard to, be like, oh, I can't do something because of this. It's like, okay, he's blind and he's on stage and he's singing and he has an awesome voice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's what's up. Like, I'm sure he's helped out so many people.
Dude,
his example.
Listen. When he came into
OG Kodi Lee,
when he came into the studio to learn how to play music, there's not everybody was as open, like open to hearing him and listening to him and just having him be included.
Is that because of who they are not being so open?
Yeah, I think it's just because it's an unusual situation. They just weren't sure how to necessarily navigate it. Not that they were purposely like, no. It was more of like well, I'm unsure, so I'm just going to play it safe and not do anything, right? For example, my band at the time used to play, and we'd have him guest piano player at some shows, and there were a couple places that were like, no, don't bring the piano thing, there's no room for that. Okay, all right.
Watch.
Sure.
Okay.
So, for whatever reason,
Yeah, of course.
And I highly doubt it was because of anything nefarious,
Okay.
But we knew that it was going to flip sometime. And when he won America's Got Talent,
Yeah, so sick.
Tears.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dude.
Tears.
For sure. He opened the door to an entire community of people, right?
Yeah.
Kids or parents that have kids that have their own challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Now those parents have another glimmer of hope that their kids can still become something, right?
Yeah.
Like this blind autistic kid, Kodi, who people were just like, oh, he's a good piano player and good singer who's blind and autistic. And that's what he's going to be. Well, 10 years later, he's headlining Vegas, at the Luxor, winning America's Got Talent, dude, he is such an amazing person, and now people in the whole world respects him, and for that, like I said, that community of people who need a hero, he's their hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we all need that kind of thing, kind of like a hero. Not everybody has that, but he is the hero to a lot of people. So,
yeah, he's helped me kind of, say, hey, okay, you have a small little speech problem. Okay, I'm blind and autistic. I'm sure he's the not saying, hey, I have this. It's by what he actually did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. He's taught me a lot,
Yeah.
Just be who you are.
Yeah. Dang. And that was a mic drop. No, I'm kidding. Right. So with that, we are going to end it up. Sal, and say thank you so much for being,
of course,
here, and this place is awesome. It's expanded so much.
Yeah.
You got this room, and you have the hat room there.
Yeah, we got, I don't know, what is it?
It's
9,000 square feet, whatever it is.
So, yeah, if you are, here in the...
Yeah, come visit.
Area.
Yeah, Temecula. Temecula, wine country.
Yeah, awesome spot. Yeah, show up. And again, thank you so much for having me here. And it's like super late. I'm sorry.
It's all good, brother. I appreciate you, Jay.
No, thank you so much. It's awesome. Yeah. And everyone out there, have a great day or night wherever you are. And thanks for tuning in to the Raw Grass Podcast.